Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Spiel, a weekly podcast where a dad and a daughter sit down and talk about all things happening in pop culture, politics, and our personal lives. I'm Veronica.
I am Charlie Stern, at New Charlie Stern on Instagram.
And this week, we are going to be talking about the latest Google trends that are out there in the world. Honestly, if we're being transparent, we're doing this because we're trying to build an audience, and this is what people are looking up. So we're going to do our best to find something to say about it and get on with our lives. So what is up today?
Well, I'm taking issue with we're doing it to build an audience. Well, we're doing it because these are things that are interesting to us amongst the Google trends, and they're interesting to other people because because people are looking them up and they're searching for these things.
Yeah.
So let's kind of comment on the things that we know about and we know are of interest to people who might be in our audience, which, by the way, is slowly getting a little bit bigger. I think we need to ask more of our audience. I think we need to say, hey, listen, if you like what you're seeing, click like. And if you have a question about a particular topic, or if we didn't get something right, let us know in the comments. I mean, that's what makes it YouTube and not NBC.
Right. Well, all I have been thinking about, I can't believe a week has passed already. That's kind of crazy because in the last week, I have seen Wicked twice and I'm about to see it again today.
Yeah.
A little Black Friday movie marathon going on today in the household, and I unfortunately though have not been able to think about much other than Wicked. I know a lot of people out there are feeling the same. I don't know what there is to really say about that.
Well, no, there is something, because you have been engaged in this other endeavor where you've been creating Instagram reels. Mm-hmm. I think some of it is Wicked related.
Some of it.
And it's been phenomenally watched.
So 2 days ago, okay, let me explain. So I'm a little nervous to be taking off the Hannah Montana wig here because I'm trying. I don't really know what it is about putting yourself out there that feels, it's not embarrassing, because I think what I've realized is the most successful people that get things in life are the ones that just put themselves out there. So a couple days ago, I realized that there's a big hole on the internet for people that love musical theater and people that are chronically online. So I decided to finally just bite the bullet and open up an Instagram account.
Now, you saying there was a gap, a hole. What the gap is that there are people who are online, but their interest in musical theater is not represented online? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, I was about to tell you. All right. Anyways, so now where was I? So I opened up a Instagram account and I called it Pop Culture Playbill. It's basically going to be a place where people that are on TikTok and Instagram, although I will get to this in a minute, TikTok is growing way faster than I ever expected it to.
So you're at Pop Culture Playbill.
Yes.
On TikTok and Instagram.
Yes. And the point of the account, and Threads, don't forget about Threads. The point of the account is, and this is my mission statement that I put in the bio, holding space for theater kids and theater kids at heart, So it's a place where we can all come and comment on things and get into the lore of Broadway, things that people didn't know about. And one of the first videos that I made is Idina Menzel explaining what happened to her in 2004 at Wicked when she came on stage in a red tracksuit. And the way that I got to this is I saw the video on TikTok of the bootleg of her walking on stage and everybody freaking out. And I was like, oh my God, this is really interesting Broadway lore. And do you know what lore means?
Lore, Lore?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, stories from the past.
Yeah, and on the internet, people love to be what's the lore? What's the lore here? Lore is in, what's the backstory? Mm-hmm. So I was let me do some research. Oh, also, I have to mention this. On my main TikTok account, I have been making these informative Wicked videos since the summer, where I do a talking head thing.
What's your main TikTok account?
That Mixed Chick NYC.
Okay.
Just like my main regular like account. And I've been making these like informative, not like journalistic pieces, but like I do a little bit of research and I like put together a narrative and
Right.
like, but I'm a talking head in it. Like I'm the face of it, you know? And I've been doing those since the summer and they have been getting like they've been doing so well, like so many views, like almost over 500,000 views on all of them. I've made like 4 of them.
Is it you or
Yeah,
is
it's
it
me.
or is it Wicked?
It's about Wicked, but I'm the one talking in it.
My question is it you or is it Wicked that's causing those videos
Oh,
to
it's
perform
Wicked.
so well?
It's Wicked.
Okay.
But I will say that the idea of like, here's what is happening in the Wicked lore. It's a lore drop about Wicked.
Mm-hmm.
And lore drop, I should say, is from this one. I mean, I don't know if he invented it, but like I get that terminology from this other guy on TikTok named Chris Olsen, and he's like a musical theater guy.
Okay.
Anyways, the point is, I was like, there's a hole. I know a little bit about content creation now. I think I'm just going to use the skills that I've garnered to fill this hole and try to get something going and see if it can become something and
Right.
be my whole like mission is to like bring people together and specifically Gen Z and like get them in the conversation about Broadway because Broadway is having a problem right now. And like, I'm not in
And explain what that problem
yeah,
is.
I'm literally explaining it.
Okay.
I'm not obviously reading the financial breakdowns and like understanding things, but a lot of Broadway shows are closing before they're barely even opened, and people are finding Broadway to be extremely inaccessible right now. Like people, and when I say people, I mean like people my age, people in my demographic, which is young, in the industry even, and feeling like it is this thing that is just too much money. It's bad times of days sometimes. Like it's just like something's not clicking.
If I may, I think what you're describing is like millennials are not accessing Broadway in the same way as older generations.
I'm not a millennial, first of all. And second of all, yes and no. I would say if you want to see a Broadway show, you can probably maybe get like an $89 ticket. That's expensive.
You're Gen Z?
I'm Gen Z.
Okay. So Gen Zs are not accessing the musical theater world the same as millennials or boomers or older people.
More specifically the boomer generation, the people that have money. Broadway is for old white people.
Right.
That's it.
Well,
and
that's who
nobody
you
wants
see.
to say it.
Yeah, well, that's who you see going there. Certainly the matinees. It's always been little old ladies on Wednesday afternoons.
Right. So I think but I also think that Broadway is having this problem where they've always had this problem of like reaching the younger audience and like meeting them where they're at. And like where they are at is TikTok. And I've noticed that it's becoming better, like the marketing and like all of that stuff, but it can be even better.
Yeah.
And it's just still not there. So I was like, you know what? I'm sick of like waiting for other people to do this and like get around
Good
to
for
it.
you.
So I'm just like started doing that. And
No, good for you,
the
Veronica.
first
And
video-
I think the reason why it probably works is because you have a Gen Z eye for social media. You're native at it. You understand the culture and the ethos of it in a very, very like personal way. And I think that while you have acknowledged that some of these campaigns are improving at
they
doing
definitely
that,
are.
that improvement is largely coming through the authorship of people who are older and accustomed to a different kind of media. So maybe it doesn't come across as authentic and as eye level, whereas you have the ability to do that. And I'm just guessing here, that's why you're those new TikToks that you did on this new account,
Pop Culture Playbill.
Pop Culture Playbill, at Pop Culture Playbill. Go check it out. Naked plug for what you're doing. I think that's why they're performing well.
But let me just also say this. What I'm doing right now, and it's fully in development. Like, guys, I opened this account like 2 days ago. I want to kind of become this place where we can, like, it's almost like Gen Z's source for Broadway. It's not Broadway news though, because I'm like, I'm not a journalist, you know, like I'm not.
It's Broadway lore. It's Broadway backstory.
Yes, Broadway backstories, Broadway lore, comment culture, which is like something happens. Like for example, the Nicole Scherzinger, where do I get this hat thing?
Right.
There's a big audience on Twitter, and like it blows up on Twitter. You know, actually, maybe this is not the best example, but, you know, where are the accounts that are commenting on that? Because, like, Playbill is not commenting on the fact that, like, Twitter's blowing up over it, and they don't see, like, they don't post, like, the Twitter lore about it. They don't post, like, the internet lore about it.
Yeah.
So, or maybe I'm missing something. I don't know. I'm also, like, fully aware that, like, sometimes the things that I say are not completely 100% accurate. I'm just going based off of, like, what I see. I feel like I'm pretty deep into the industry. My friends are in it. My friends are in Broadway shows. My friends are on tour. I was on tour. So, like, I know what's happening, and I know that there is a big, big, big gap in the Gen Z voice actually having any power in the industry.
Go for it, Veronica. I think you're onto something. I want to say to our building and growing audience, if you could write in the comment, what was the last Broadway show that you saw personally, that you saw with your own eyes in a Broadway theater or on tour?
Tour counts.
What was the last Broadway show you watched? We would really love to know.
Oh, and I will also say this. The other reason why this has spawned is because Wicked, the Wicked movie, has reignited an entire generation of people that love musical theater. And when I say that, I mean this. First of all, we're in a movie musical renaissance. That's just it. The success of Wicked is going to bring about way more movie musicals and people. So at the beginning of this year, there was this thing that was like, ooh, movie musicals are really doing poorly. And like studios aren't advertising them as musicals because apparently they did this study that was like 56% of people would not go to see a movie musical. And that...
It's got blown out.
That became like a short, small story for a minute, but it was frustrating because it was like this thing that so many of us love is being like almost like this erasure. Like they're making the movie musicals, but then when they put them in, you know, they do the commercials, there's no music in the commercial. So they're trying to like trick people into coming to see the movies.
Okay, and they trick them into coming to the movie by positioning it as a regular feature film.
A regular film, and like, you know, they put like a pop song over it, and they're like, come see this movie. And
so
specifically...
So they don't market it as a musical, but it's a musical.
Specifically, this happened with the Mean Girls musical. In January, the first trailer came out, and it was like, Mean Girls for not your mother's Mean Girls. There was a lot of other issues with the marketing campaign with Mean Girls the musical, but the biggest one was like they didn't advertise it as a musical, and then like people went to see it and they're like, this was a musical, like what's going on? So the success and magnitude of what Wicked has become is telling me that the tides are turning. Okay, we're about to enter Glee era 2.0. It's about to be a renaissance.
Okay. I trust you, Veronica. I trust you. I think on this topic, you know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And if you sense something is coming along.
Something is coming. I just know.
Coming along. You got to stay at it. So listen, I want you to.
The
you recognize
microphone's
that?
on the bottom. Is that the
what song is that?
President theme song?
President of what?
America? Oh, England?
Does that sound like the national anthem of America?
Queen of England?
No. This is like, we're going to have to edit this out, okay?
Why?
That is...
Stop playing it. It's the microphone.
Okay. That is the national anthem of France.
Oh.
And the reason I'm playing it is because I'm transitioning to the Google Trends here. There's a major thing happening today, November 29th, 2024, which is the reopening of the Notre Dame Cathedral.
Oh, that's today?
In Paris. That is today. And it is epic. It is epic. I mean, let me just say this to you. I obviously am not a person of the Roman Catholic persuasion, but I am somewhat in awe of this whole thing because there was a fire in 2019 the main church, the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris, which apparently is located on a tiny little island, almost like a Roosevelt Island kind of situation. It burnt down to the ground, Veronica. And the president, you were not there. You were here watching it on TV with everybody else. But the president of France, Emmanuel Macron, said, we're going to put back this cathedral in 5 years.
Wow.
And he did it. And
That's
so
amazing.
here's the story. I don't know France that well, but it's my impression that a very large number of people there are Roman Catholics. And so, although it's not the national religion, if this is something that is very meaningful to a very broad number of French. There's Muslim and Jewish and all kinds of people living there, but this is a dominant piece of the culture, and the entire country has rallied around it. And they had to get artisans and craftsmen and architects from all over the globe to figure out how to do this. It was an absolute engineering feat. I've been watching it on TV for the last several years. And today, the president of France, Emmanuel Macron, is hosting a 2-hour television live walk through the cathedral so people all over the world can see what's going on there. And he called the rehabilitation, he called it a human adventure of epic proportions. This is big, really big. But it's officially going to open to the public December 7th. The cathedral was from like the 12th century, like a lot of famous people in history, Napoleon and so on. Everybody's been there.
Right.
So I personally found it to be just an amazing, amazing thing to watch. And yes, that is a Google trend. People looking that up. Now, I'm glad we got that one out of the way because like Google Trends numbers 1 through 50 are brands.
Right.
People are searching for, are you ready? Ulta, Old Navy, Apple, New Balance, Kohl's, Home Depot, Best Buy, JCPenney.
Okay, well, that's just because today is Black Friday.
Right.
Like we said at the top of the show.
It is the Google Trends is totally 98% dominated by people looking to buy stuff.
Well, that's an interesting conundrum because on the other hand, Black Friday is not what it used to be. Because nobody's going to the stores anymore. Nobody's lining up. Nobody's fighting over TVs. Like everybody's just like opening up their computer and looking up Old Navy sales and then like doing their thing. Also, the sales, the Black Friday quote unquote sales are actually horrible. Like they're like, give you 15% off. Are you happy? And you're like,
no.
What happened to...
You go searching for the next thing and the next thing. Now, no, it's interesting to me what you're saying because... I guess, the scenes we used to see of people fighting over those 5 televisions that they sold at a ridiculous price. Maybe that's not the thing today. But the thing today appears to be luxury brands with a Black Friday coupon. So must be millions of people who like wait all year long and say, what, how do I get the Tory Burch bag that I've always wanted? Let's see what they're offering today. So so what do they do the rest of the year?
What do you mean?
Like I mean, if
the
it's
brands?
like this, well, yeah, like what I'm trying to say is if you're that kind of shopper who types in the brand name you're interested in and looks for a deal on Black Friday, what were you doing the rest of the year?
Not buying anything?
I wonder.
Going thrift shopping. Like I'm like literally the last person to ask about merchandising and like sales and stuff because I'm not.
You're the last person to ask. No, I don't want to start a family fight right on camera here, Veronica. But if I went into your room right now, I would see every brand on this page practically.
Name it.
Ulta,
Name 'em.
Ulta,
Okay, yeah.
Old Navy,
I do have Old Navy.
Apple,
Apple's not fair.
Best Buy,
Okay, yeah.
Nordstrom. All right, AirPod, T-Mobile,
Canceled. I canceled.
Tory Burch.
Tory Burch. No, I don't have anything from Tory Burch anymore.
Yeah, you are this shopper.
No,
okay, so stop the nonsense. Let's just stop the madness. People are searching for the word narcissistic personality disorder. Why do you think that might be?
Because they're at Thanksgiving.
Because they're at Thanksgiving and they can't stand their relatives. Interesting leftover turkey recipes is, not surprisingly, trending.
Let's
and
talk
very
about
big.
Thanksgiving really quick.
Yeah.
There's a bug in front of my face. I hate Thanksgiving dinner.
I noticed that you were a little bit withdrawn yesterday, and I'm sorry for that. Why?
I hate that food. I don't like it. My mom's an amazing cook, but I just don't like Thanksgiving dinner. I don't like turkey. I don't like roast beef. So then I end up eating just like sides for the entire dinner. It's disgusting. It's so heavy. It's so like fattening food. Like I just don't like it. And then it's the overconsumption. I don't like the overconsumption. So much food. Then everybody's like, oh, but you have leftovers. I don't want to eat the leftovers. I don't want a Thanksgiving sandwich. I just want to eat what I like to eat on every other day of the year, and I don't need one day of the year to be completely about and to be only about food. I just don't get it. I don't like it.
All right.
You will not.
Time out. Too much. Stern Spiel people. How do you feel about the Thanksgiving tradition of gathering around the table with your family and eating like you have two stomachs? How do you feel about that? I'd like to hear.
You know
ever
what
heard
I
of?
just thought about?
You ever heard of Lainey Wilson?
1 second.
Yeah.
You know what I just thought about? I should go live on Instagram while we record. Like, what would that
Interesting.
do? Should I try?
We'll give it a try next week.
Next
Let's try it
week?
again because we're almost done. What are you doing? Where are you going?
I'm putting this up to say that we're recording an episode. So we're recording an episode of the Stern Spiel right now.
Yeah, it looks like there's a couple people in there. You missed like a lot of stuff. Maybe
because I only thought of this like 5 seconds ago.
Maybe I should go back over that question about narcissistic personality disorder. Anyway, Veronica, you know what the number one trending word over the past 24 hours on Google Trends has been?
What?
Amazon.
Well, yeah, because everybody wants to know what the Amazon, what to buy.
That's not the only reason.
Why? Oh, I know why.
Yeah, because there's a strike going on at Amazon.
Hey, guys.
There was a threat of a strike, and now it's my understanding from looking at X that there is a actual strike affecting Amazon in like 30 countries, including the United States, Canada, Germany, and the UK. So workers are saying, make Amazon pay. They want to be paid more. And it's interesting because Amazon is not actually organized in all of those places, and actually a very small number of Amazon units are labor organized. So these people are just walking out, and we'll have to see what happens. We'll also have to see how Amazon is able to handle the load of Black Friday without the benefit of significant numbers of workers who are apparently striking. Any thoughts on that?
No thoughts. What is one item that you would want to buy today on Black Friday if it was 50% off?
Fair question, and my answer is a little convoluted, and I did make that purchase. I did make that, and it wasn't 50% off.
What did you buy?
It was about 20 to 25% off. I purchased it last week at B&H Photo. I purchased a video switcher that I was considering purchasing for about 4 or 5 months. I did an extensive amount of research. I joined a Facebook group where they talk about it. And then the device is about $400, and it was on sale for $319 at B&H, basically like a holiday type sale.
Mm-hmm.
So I picked one up.
What's the craziest Black Friday purchase you've ever made?
I don't recall.
I know what it is.
Oh, I know what it is. A car.
Yes.
I bought a car. On
Yeah,
Black Friday. Yes.
It was the car.
That was, and you know what? I did not regret buying that car.
That was,
yeah.
Now, did you like think about that purchase beforehand, or did you like wake up on Black Friday and see a deal and you're like, I'm going to get it?
Story time. Here's what happened. I had been planning that purchase for months. and I needed to buy a car. My old car was really run down, and it was time to sell. I needed another car. I called the car dealership to make an appointment to see a sales rep. Coincidentally, the president of the car dealership answered the phone, and he said, well, we're open all week, but why don't you come here on Friday? We're having a Thanksgiving sale, and we'll have all those cars that you're looking for on ready to sell, and they're all going to be at a special price, and you can have any one at the exact same price. Just come on Friday. And he goes, but you probably want to get here early because we tend to sell them out. And I thought it was both a sales initiative, but also like maybe there's something here. And the timing was right. So I got up super early. I drove up to Stanford Ford, and sure enough, the cars are parked in the little parking area, all ready to be, test driven. And he
The
goes,
rest is history.
and I met that guy. He showed up that day. And he said, you can have any one you want. They're all the same price. Pick out the one you want. Off you go.
I feel like the moral of the story there is like, just what if you just called Taylor up?
But let me tell you something.
What?
I still have the car, and I'm really glad that I did buy it when I did, because, that was Thanksgiving of 2019. And you know what happened a few months later?
The pandemic.
It would have been like really hard to get a car.
Because of the pandemic?
Because of a pandemic, because of people not working,
Parts,
because
yeah,
car
yeah,
dealers
yeah.
are closed, because of shortages. And then they started not having enough cars to sell because they weren't manufacturing chips. It was like a hairy mess. So
No need to relive 2020.
Right. So I was very glad I snuck in a brand new car in 2019
Wow. All right, well,
on a Black Friday sale.
y'all, that was our episode. It was extremely chaotic, but, that's the holidays for you. If you liked this episode, make sure that you subscribe. And also...
That's not enough anymore. That's not motivating people, Veronica. What we got to say is, what are you buying for Black Friday, if anything? And I know you're buying something, because like 149 of the top Google Trends out of 150 Google Trends are brand names. So I know you're buying stuff. I'd like to know what you're getting for Black Friday. Put it in the comments. Thank you for tuning in. This has been the Stern Spiel, Volume 2, Episode number 19.
Yeah. Next week is 20. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.